Hey folks! In this video we're going to review some reviews. We're going to take a look at some of the past reviews we've done because the channel isn't varied enough, we haven't confused the algorithm enough. So we're going to look at products that we've reviewed in the past and see how they held up over time. Normally when you do a review you get a product and you use it for a little while and then you give your opinion on it. But what has it been like to live with it for a few years now? None of these products have ever been sponsored or given to us for free or anything like that. We bought it all with our own money. So our opinions are our own. We don't have to answer to any company or anything like that. So let's see how they hold up. And we'll do this in chronological order. So starting with the first thing we ever reviewed in the channel, the first tool, Mini Lathe, which has been in storage ever since I got the Harbor Freight Mini Lathe. I made many modifications to it over time to make it more usable, but I think my opinion from the original review still holds. It is a small, very small machine. It is underpowered, and you do have to use a lot of your skill and craftsmanship to compensate for the shortcomings of the machine. But if all you need is a thing that will hold a small object between centers and spin it around, and you have a delicate touch, this works. I've made many sound posts for violins, cellos and violas with this thing. I've made a few ones, but mostly very small items. And like I said, it got retired as soon as I got a bigger lathe. Next we have the slow Dolphin Lightbox, and for you to have an idea of how little I have used it, just like the super mini lathe, it is tucked away in this relatively inaccessible spot here. And like in the original video, Ash had to check it out. For how little this cost at the time, I have no regrets, but it has been used only very rarely. But mostly is because I haven't had the need to photograph or film small objects that fit in that space. It is still very flimsy and has a bit of an improvised feel, but if all you need is a little box that has light in it, it's alright. Then we have the Harbor Freight 7x12 mini lathe. This thing required extensive cleaning up and adjustments for it to be an actual precision lathe. But once I had it all taken apart, cleaned up, adjusted, and put it all back together, and made a few parts for it, it is actually an indispensable tool in my workshop. I would be greatly limited on what I can do here if I didn't have it. Considering the price at the time of purchase, I'll say this was a very good investment, and I am so glad to have it. But it needed work. And yes, I use this thing often, I just keep it very clean. Then we have the Fireball Vise, which is almost permanently mounted with my improved bench peg. And this thing has worked flawlessly since I got it. What can I say about it? It's a vise, it's a cast steel vise, and I don't abuse my tools, so there's no reason why it would be falling apart, but it is solid. It works perfectly like it did in the first day. I haven't chipped it. The paint gets a little scuffed here and there, but that's because this is a functioning workshop, not a studio. And it has done everything I've asked of it, which is basically hold things in place for me. Sometimes crush things. I have no complaints whatsoever. This was money well spent. Next we have the Bose SoundLink 2 headphones, which I didn't give a very good review back in the day, and I still think the bass is very underwhelming, and the microphone in it is so bad that I just gave up altogether on using it. But these are my primary headphones with all the problems they have. I've worn through one set of the ear cups. I have to get a replacement for this because these are coming apart again. And I will be using this when I edit this video. And the battery still holds charge perfectly after all these years. How long has it been? I'll put somewhere on the screen how long it's been. And so they are underwhelming, but they work. I still think they were overpriced, and if I had been shopping around, there probably would have been better headphones with better bass. But these have been doing the job for me so far. And I'll continue using them until they completely fall apart or a better one comes my way. Then we have the LUBAN Rabbet plane, which was supposed to be something else when I bought, but I'm not hung up on the brand. These are all basically copies of the more famous planes. And this has been holding up pretty well too. It has a good iron, and that is mostly what is important. It hasn't lost its shape, it hasn't deformed itself or anything. So it still works. I don't have anything bad to say about it. The price was right at the time, and it's a good plane. Like most cheap tools, it needed to be cleaned up. It had some flashing on the metal edges that needed to be filed off, and it needed to be adjusted, of course, and sharpened. But that's what you expect when you are the quality control. Then we got the Skil band saw. I can do without most manners of saw except for a hand saw. Like, I don't need a table saw, don't need a miter saw, or jigsaw, or a sawzall, but I cannot do without a band saw. This is the most useful saw type to me, aside of a hand saw. And this is a tiny workshop. So when it came time to get a band saw for the workshop, I had to look for a tiny one, and this is as small as it got without being a toy, basically. Like most tools, you need to make adjustments before setting it to use. And I not only made adjustments, I modified the holy living bejesus out of this thing. I painted it white, which I think looks much better than the red it was. I added a switch for the light, because otherwise the light only came on when you turn on the saw. I improved the fence, made it more accurate by putting a piece of plexiglass on it. I made a sled out of plexiglass. Added the googly eyes, because everything is better with some googly eyes. And I added a bunch of sound insulation material, because I don't like noise, and it's a power tool, it's going to be noisy, but I like to keep the noise down to a minimum. And while it needed adjustment, like pretty much every band saw is going to need right out of the box, it's not ready to be used, the blade that came with it was extremely good. So when it came time to replace the blade, I bought the Skil blade set and I thought it was going to be just as good. No, these, for some reason, are nowhere as good as the blade that came with the saw. And I wish I could get that type of blade again because, sorry, these are crap. So the Skil band saw as it came, I would say it is in the prosumer category. It's okay, but a professional is going to complain about it. But after a few modifications, it is excellent. I really love this tool, and I can't live without it. I use it almost every time I'm here in the workshop. And here we have the WAN drill press, and this is another of those tools that are essential for the productivity in the workshop. And amazingly, I have not done any actual modification to this tool. Well, I have shortened the column so it would fit in the space I have for it, and I also made a little light for it. I made it from the LED element from one of these Harbor Freight flashlights that they used to give away for free, but I think now we have to buy them. And other than adding some attachment tools to do specific tasks with it, I have not really modified this drill press, which is different for my tools. I've considered painting it white to match the bandsaw, but I don't know. I have to just take an afternoon off to paint it. I have to take the whole thing apart, and yeah, it's too much work. So this has been a good drill press, and it has done everything I've asked of it, and I've never stalled it actually. So it's much better than the Harbor Freight drill press that I had before, which the motor was so puny that I could just stall it by holding it with my hand. Don't do that. Don't try to stall tools with your hands. Right next to the WAN drill press we have the RIKON combination belt and disc sender, variable speed. And I didn't know how much I needed one of these things. It's dusty. I didn't know how much I needed one of these things until I finally got it here. I had a cheap one, the Harbor Freight one that I have at the backyard shed, which it works, but it's terrible in every way. But it still works. This one is wonderful in every way. This is another tool that I have not had to do any modifications, no fundamental modifications on it at least. I had to do extensive plumbing so that I could do the dust extraction because the dust extraction ports are mismatched. They are not the same size, the ones on this side and the one on that side. So I had to make a big plumbing thing on the back there with one port here where I plug in my dust extraction system. Other than that, I have no complaints whatsoever about this tool. It has been wonderful. Now, I insisted on getting the variable speed because I thought, oh, I'm going to use it. I'm going to turn it up and turn it down depending on what I'm doing. I have never used it outside of the lowest speed. So if a variable speed is a factor you're considering, think well about it, because this was significantly more expensive than the single speed one. This metal hook here is where I put my ear protection. These are very good. Impromptu review. They are very good. Then here we have the Neewer P200 lights. And I hate these lights. I use them. They are in part what's lighting up this video and all. But the lights I really wanted, I'll put a link somewhere, are much better than these. And the reason they are better is because the ones I wanted had the diffuser on it. I had to make a diffuser for these lights, otherwise it's just a bunch of LEDs. Also, the other lights had a built-in battery. This you have to buy the battery separate. And these batteries that I got, what is this? Here. These batteries were garbage. They don't last. This one, in fact, has gone bad a couple of months after being bought. Doesn't hold any charge anymore. Doesn't have built-in battery, doesn't charge the battery when it's connected, and it's overall big and clunky. There are better lights out there, and the remote control, that was something that I did like about these lights, I find myself hardly ever using, because I just set the light and that's it. I don't have to be controlling from a distance. So yeah, I have them. They were pricey. I'm going to use them until they break, but they were not my first choice. They were bought by mistake, and I'm not a fan. Then we had the Enya Nova Go, which I no longer have. Oh, I have the strap. Let's do this again. Then we had the Enya Nova Go, which I no longer have. I gave it away, and I don't want to say I regret it, but the collector in me still wishes I had that guitar. It's not the best guitar in the world, but it was charming. You know, if you want to take a little guitar somewhere, the size was pretty good. It had an acceptable sound. It's not, you know, a magnificent, bespoke, fine tone wood dreadnought or something like that. It was a really big little guitar. But it worked. And I gave it away. Then I got an Enya X4 Pro Mini acoustic guitar that had a problem, and the manufacturer did not work with me satisfactorily, and I had to send it back, and I never looked back on that one. But it was not my last brush with Enya products, because I went ahead to get the Enya Nova Go Sonic. And this is not how they come. Because I'm crazy and I modify everything, I put a maple cap on it. And I cannot decide if I like this guitar or if I'm completely indifferent to it, because this is a composite material guitar. It's a carbon fiber material. But it does have a little bit of a plasticky feel to it that I cannot get over. Still, it was a fun project. I filmed it, but the footage is such a mess. I tried editing and couldn't make much sense of it, so I don't know, leave it in the comments if you want to see how I did this thing. But I can't promise I'll make a video out of it because the footage is too messy. This was a fun trip down memory lane, doing this review. And now I'm gonna do the whole YouTube thing, and leave a thumbs up and comment and subscribe. And what is it that they're saying these days? Oh yes, only a certain percentage of people are subscribed, so subscribe to help the channel grow and all that stuff. And if you have any questions, any comments, leave them below, of course. Thank you so much for watching the video all the way to the end. And we'll see you on the next one. Ash hadn't been on this one, so here he is. Review on the cat. Still the same little fluff ball.